All right, welcome everyone to the Developer Student Club Involvement Fair meeting. So I'll be your host for today. I'm Cassie, I'm the event planner, and Developer Student Club is one of the many Google-sponsored chapters all around the world, global, and we are the one at San Francisco. So for this brief info session, I want to talk about who we are, what we do, what our goals are, and how you can sign up after this meeting. And there will also be a Q&A session right after the presentation. So you can ask any questions, ask about us, anything like that. So to start off, I mentioned that we're one of the many chapters around the world, and here is a visual map for everyone to see about the many chapters spread all over. So you can see some in the Asian continent, and then there's some over here in Europe and Africa. There's a lot of chapters, and so we're a very big community, and so each chapter is almost like a little community in every university campus. This just shows our network and line of connections. And so I want to talk about who we are and what we do. So we are a community club for students who are interested in learning more about Google developer technologies. And here, as you can see, I want to mention that we are not limited to only computer science or data science majors. We are open to any major who is interested in possibly working in the tech industry, want to know more about developer technologies, specifically from Google. And so if you're even just a little bit interested, feel free to join after this meeting because we have so many things to introduce. We have a lot of workshops and opportunities for you to learn with us. And the reason why we asked for any majors is also because we want to grow our demographic and have a lot of team working and partnership where you can learn from your peers, you can learn with each other if you have any questions, all that kind of community building aspect. And so next, I'm going to talk about our mission. So the Developer Student Clubs bridge the gap between theory and practice for student developers. And so what this means is that if you have an idea that you want to create, but you don't know what to do or exactly how to get there, we want to be able to give you the tool set and the knowledge in order to make that idea come true. So let's say I want to build an app, but I don't know how to do it. Then I would come to DSC. I would ask, hey, is there a workshop for developing an app? And we would try to make that workshop come true and try to help you with making your app. So our main goal is to impact students and empower them to impact their communities through the knowledge that you gain from our club. So maybe your app is based on your neighborhood. Maybe you want to do something like, oh, how many dogs are walking around? Maybe my dog is shy, and so I'm going to make this app that would help my community with that. And so usually we would show this video, but due to the time restriction, I'll just be summarizing her story. But as I mentioned, we like to have impact on our local communities. And so this is one story of that action. Hatsu is a student who is deaf, and she didn't think that she could become a developer, but with the support from her own Developer Student Club chapter, she was able to develop an app that would help her friends that experience the same kind of disabilities that she has. And so she was able to make this app that impacts her own community, and that's one of our main goals, as mentioned in the mission, for everyone to accomplish. And you heard me mention Google Developer Technologies, and what exactly is that? Well, that's a good question. There's actually quite a lot, and this over here is a short visual of what we have displayed in this slide. So there's actually a whole long list, which I will show briefly. I won't be going over every single technology, but this just gives you a sense of every single technology that is offered by Google, things that we can learn from, things that you can use. So as you can see here, there's AI, machine learning, and then you can go down the list. There's all kinds of developer tools that they've put out for developers to use. And it's a lot to learn. It's a lot of things. So with our workshops that we plan to have in the future, we want to narrow it down to specific topics that our students, our club members want to learn. So how are we going to learn all these platforms? As mentioned, we will have workshops hosted by our tech leads. Our wonderful tech leads are almost like teachers, but they're also student run, like graduate student or undergraduate students. So they're also like kind of like you guys. And we'll be teaching topics that are, again, club member based, meaning your interests and what you want to learn. And we'll also have a huge event in the spring called the Solution Challenge. And that's a big topic that I just won't go into just because of the lack of time. But if you are interested in learning more about it, please attend our first club info session. I know this is a short info session, but for our official club as a member, you'll get to learn more details about the solution challenge and other resources that we have offered. Also, in the future, we plan to have panels from developers with industry experience, meaning that you can come by, and when we do have a panel, you can ask for tips, advice, stories, and be able to connect with them. And for after all that workshop and learning, you'll have opportunities for normal kind of club events where we have like networking events, community bonding, like movie nights, and also just like showcases where you can all talk about your projects and share with one another, meet new people, make some new friends, maybe even us too if you like that. So why should you join? Well, we're pretty cool people, I would say. I like my team a lot. Some of them are here, some of them are not here, but you'll get to meet the team eventually, especially if you come to the info session, please do. And we also have the sponsorship of Google. As I mentioned, Google is a very big brand name. It's you know, you can tell from our slide, we have the Google colors. Like we're sponsored by them, and we have the resources and guidance from them, which makes our club more official. And with this opportunity that we have from using their resources, we want to be able to give that opportunity to club members here, more opportunities to learn. And we're also audience focused, meaning that we care about what our club members want to do, want to learn, which is really important for designing the whole year events that we have. And so please definitely do like provide feedback, ideas that you want to see. Like I mentioned earlier with examples like making an app, if you want to do something like that, make sure to tell us and we will help you learn and get the knowledge to do that. So now to give you a taste of what our workshops will potentially be like, we have one of our tech leads here, and he will be showing you a demo of a short project he did for this involvement fair presentation. So I'll stop sharing and I'll give him the floor.
Thank you so much, Cassie, for the intro. So as Cassie said, my name is Jose. I'm a senior studying CS and math. And I've been a tech lead for, I think, almost a year. I don't even know if that number is right, like almost a year. I've had experience in the past using GCP, like on my own time, using Azure, which is Microsoft's like cloud-based solution, and using extensively AWS, which is Amazon's cloud-based solution as well. And so the developer student club really just offered me more of a chance to really get more familiar with cloud-based solutions, with specifically with GCP. Because as it turns out, most, if not all of the industry is shifting over to cloud-based solutions for developing really anything. The reason being is because these startups or medium to big size companies just don't have the bandwidth that some of these already established cloud providers have. And so instead of spending billions of dollars into making cloud-based solutions for themselves, they basically sort of like outsource them to GCP, Azure, whatever IBM has, and AWS. So that's like the short TLDR of what GCP is. Cassie went a little bit more in depth of some of like the products, the services that GCP offers. And so today I'm going to be showing you a demo on how to use, or not on how to use, but a demo of an application that was made entirely on GCP platform. And so that's enough talking. So let me go ahead and actually share my screen. The host disabled attendee screen sharing, so I think it's either Cassie or Tiffany.
Right, go for it. I'm so sorry about that.
No worries. Where is it? Awesome. And this, hold on, let me move some stuff around because Zoom things, you know. Okay, so this is actually a project that you can go online and find a little bit more about and really get more in detail. But basically, it's just a training model using TensorFlow, and basically goes like over like 15 to 20 commands on how to deploy your own DNN, which is like a form of a neural network. in order for a prediction model. And so in this little project, it basically has you go through like downloading like a 10 gigabyte file, and this file contains just a bunch of data from the US government, like census data on, like, for example, like how much a person makes, where they live, like their race, ethnicity, like education level, and all these other things. And so a 10 gigabyte file, it's pretty big. Like my computer would have a hard time, and I have a MacBook Pro. Like my computer would have a hard time trying to digest all of that information and really come up with like something, right? Like in the in the runtime. It would take like either hours or even a day even to really go through like a model and really going through like so many iterations to make the model good. And so as you can imagine, if I have this running like and showing it to you, it might not be like that bad. Like sure, we might waste like 5 minutes, right? But say for example, if you're a big company that you're relying on having like this model for you, like available to all your like hundreds or even thousands of developers, it might cause a little bit of struggle, right? If your model is just living inside one person's computer, right? Just with like the amount of bandwidth it can receive and just like a bunch of these things. And so that's when you start looking at like cloud solutions in order to actually leverage some of the resources that you don't have to somebody that does have them enough and is able to sell them to you at a very cheap price. This entire prediction that I did, I basically did it for free. I am using like expensive resources, but the amount of time that I'm actually using them, like they won't charge me for them. And they have like just a bunch of other type of project that you can get more familiar and get around with, like how to use GCP. This is just one of them. And so let me actually show you what this product or what this little project does. And so as you can tell, let me see if I can, okay, that's a little better. As you can see, like it's just like a standard command line like argument. It's G Cloud AI platform, and then the predict. Then it takes in a flag for the model name. Um, the guide has you go through deploying 4 different models, and then basically you can just use whichever one you really want. It doesn't really matter. They all have about like the same like prediction values, but it's just different ways of approaching a problem. One is distributed, one isn't. One is with hyperparameters, and another one isn't, and just stuff like that. And then just the version. Say, for example, if you tweak your algorithm a little bit, you maybe want to increase the version and say like, okay, this is a better version of the thing. We go ahead and do that. And then it takes the very last one, JSON instances, and that's basically just an input file of some of the labels. If you're familiar with AI and ML terminology, label is basically just an input that gets put into a bucket. This is like in layman's terms, and just puts it into a bucket and does its all work, and then just spits out like some predictive value. And so in that file, we have around, I think, like 10 to 15 labels, and it's basically running this test or input file against our model that we trained. And so as you can see, it was pretty much instantaneous. And as you can see, the probabilities of, and I also forgot to tell you what this model is doing. This is basically taking that test JSON file, and it tells you whether an individual is likely to make more than $50,000 a year or less than $50,000 a year. It doesn't matter where you are in the United States. That's just based on the labels that you are giving it. It gives you a probability of whether you're going to be making more than $50,000 or less than $50,000 a year in the U.S. So as you can see, the probability of this individual making that is pretty high, 93%. I would bet on that. And so let's actually mess around a little bit with the test file, or they named it weird. It's not a test file. It's really more of an input file. So let me go ahead and let's do that. And so I'm just basically just opening up another terminal window. And let me go ahead and actually grab the project ID just to make sure I'm in the right folder. There. And then let's go over to and as you can see, there's a test JSON. So as you can see, this is the information that we're inputting. As you can see, there's a bunch of different labels like age, the working class, the education, marital status, occupation, relationship, race, gender, all these things. And so let's see what the probability, how the probability changes if this person were to be a white person with the exact same amount of education, this and same, and everything stays the same. Just we're changing one label. Seeing, and let's see what that does. As you can see, like the probabilities pretty much stay basically sort of the same. They change just a little bit. As you can see, like the probability of this person making a little bit more, right, goes down a little bit. It's like it goes from 93.4% to a 93.1%, right? There's like these variations. But say, for example, if you were to do like something like a lot more drastic, say, for example, the age of this person was, oops. The age of this person were to go, say, from the, let's see, we can get the cursor moving a little bit faster. I didn't map my keys for this, so I'm sorry. Say if this person was like 51 years old, right? And they only had up to like they only went up to their 11th grade, so a junior in high school, and then see how it would fare against our model. So as you can see, like it actually it dropped like 4%, right? And as you can actually see, like 89% to 93%, that's not really much of a difference, right? But it does make a difference. Say, for example, if you were like giving like presenting a case against either like your employer or someone else and saying like you're not giving like the exact same amount of chances as someone else, right? And say, you could even like with all these tools available for us and most of the time for free, what you could do is compile a lot of information for like at USF about how much financial aid people are getting and get like really all their information, like their age, whether they went to the military or not, whether they're immigrants, whether their race, right, and their background and stuff like that. And you could actually make a model on that, and then for incoming students, say how much financial aid they would get, right? And so then if you find like some like astonishing like results, you can bring this up to like the actual university and say like, hey, like what's going on? Like we have this thing, it's showing us that you're treating like some students differently than others. Like what's going on? And so that's just like a little brief introduction to what you can do with GCP. And then if you have any questions about like the model or GCP in general, I'm more than happy to answer them. But I think we're just going to go to Q&A now.
I have taken back the screen. Thank you so much, Jose, for presenting that. It's a really interesting presentation, and I hope that everyone will find something intriguing about it, something to learn about. And so this is, like Jose said, it's the last part, is the Q&A section. So feel free to ask any of us questions. There are 3 eBoard members here from the team with us today, including myself. So anything about like club membership or just like activities, things you want to do, let us know. You can just like unmute and start talking. If someone interrupts you, like maybe like choose who goes first. Oh yeah, and these are some links. So I'll be putting this in the chat for everyone to see. We have a Slack channel. We have a Google form for you to sign up and be a member, and we also have another Google form for anyone who has ideas of events they want to do or just things that they want to see us improve on, then feel free to send us a feedback note.
Hey, I was just wondering if you guys already set up a specific day and time for meetings.
So
Yes,
as
we actually.
Yep, go ahead.
Oh, yes. So yeah, our e-board has actually been trying to get the members together since some of them are scattered on different time zones. So we do have a good estimate of when we'll host our next general meeting, and it would likely be we'll send out an email about that as soon as possible, but it will be either in the next week or the next week. So yes, please definitely keep an eye out for emails and updates on Slack.
Okay, thank you.
And to add on to that, the reason why there's a little bit more of a like pause between when the meetings will start is because we're also gauging on other club members and other clubs in their own meeting times, so we can also like match so that people don't get conflicts. And we're also trying to start preparing for the workshops for this semester.
I just have a question.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just wonder, do you have like any workshop for job preparations kind of stuff?
Yes.
Go ahead, Tiffany.
Yeah, like
yes,
the coding tech interview.
Yeah, that's actually a great question. Yes, thank you for asking. So yes, we do have plans for that, and we are external events panel chair, and also the director of outreach is currently contacting industry professionals, and so we are making a decision regarding when is the best time for them to join our general meetings, since given the current circumstances, it's a bit messy. But yes, we're trying our best to get resume and also technical interview preparation. Yes.
And also, since you asked about like interview preparation, if you don't mind, I would like you to fill out the Google form just so you can provide more details. Like maybe if you have like areas that you want us to cover, like negotiating or like salary, like those kinds of aspects, so you can like let us know more details about what you would want.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.
I have another question.
Yeah.
So what's do you have like any project ongoing so far?
Sorry, what was that?
So, I mean, so what's your like ongoing project? So what project I'll get student?
Ongoing projects that we're doing, like, do you mean like for the whole club?
Yes. So like from the mobile app to the website or
Oh, we don't have our Tiffany can answer that, Yemen. Yeah.
Yeah, we currently don't have we haven't started any ongoing projects yet, but with the workshops that we'll have bi-weekly or even weekly, depending on everyone's schedule, we will be hosting platforms not only limited to Google Cloud Platform, as Cassie mentioned. So Google Cloud Platform is one of the core materials, but also there's Firebase, there's Google Maps Code Labs, Google Assistant for actions on Google, and also other Android or Flutter for UI design and scalable mobile app design. So there's like a lot to cover, but depending on the community's feedback, we'll also adjust the workshops depending on like what you guys as a community member will prefer. So we'll have different workshops focused on different aspects, technical aspects throughout the fall semester. And then, as Cassie mentioned earlier, the Global Solution Challenge, that is like this huge global competition where groups of 4 students per university are going to like build their own solution in the spring. So we're gonna like, there's gonna be a lot more about that towards the latter part of this semester, but we're basically preparing everyone for building solutions for the solution challenge in the spring. So yeah,
Okay.
there's a lot to look out for. Yeah, hope that answers.
Thank you.
Yes, no problem.
Yes.
And also, if you have more questions, I'm going to drop the email below where you can email us and ask anything else that you may have come up with like after the meeting. So feel free to always contact us, always ask us like any questions, anything that you guys want to happen. Because we're also a growing community, this is only our second year.
Yeah, very quick. I also wanted to include this as the last part. So if you do have any ideas regarding like things that you want to change in our community, really definitely we're gonna send out a Google Sheet or Google form very soon for you guys to fill out any of your ideas. Casual, you don't have to have like this whole like process of how you're gonna change things. But definitely feel free to throw your ideas in, and after that, we can definitely help each other build out the solutions using the different Google developer technologies. Yeah, so just a heads up.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So you mean that we can write our that project proposals on that sheet?
Yes, yeah.
Project
Yes,
proposals
definitely.
work too. Be sure to fill out the feedback form that we have right here in the chat.
Okay. Cool. Thank you.
Does anyone else have any other questions?
Yes, I do. So will you guys be offering social events as well? You may have already answered this, but will you be doing like quite a bit of social events other than like just guest speakers themselves? Just
Yes, so we plan to have like networking events where you can hopefully meet with other members and also with us. And do you have any specific social events that you were thinking of?
yeah, I was thinking of providing them in the feedback if that's all right.
Yeah, totally go for it. Like take your time in providing that feedback.
All right.
Yeah. Maybe I think we can have like a movie night, like playing the internship kind of stuff.
Yeah, movie night is definitely one of our goals for social events because it's kind of
Yeah.
hard to with like
Yeah.
specific social events online.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, so we have we're kind of past over time, but is there any like remaining questions that anyone is dying to just get out? If not, you can always like email us or fill out the feedback form.
Thank you for coming, everyone. We hope the semester is off to a great start for all of you. Yeah, and we can't wait to see you guys back at our kickoff meeting. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Thank
just
you.
to mention, we also have a newsletter that once you sign up, we'll be putting your email into the newsletter, which you're free to unsubscribe from like anytime. But we'll also like mark down events that other chapters are hosting as well, so you get more access to other opportunities from different areas and videos. Thank you guys for coming. We hope to see you soon.
Have a good day.
Thank you.